All right. Well, good morning, everyone. It's so great to see each and every one of you guys on this morning. I'm excited to share this information with you. Earlier this week, probably about a week ago, I ended up having a really great conversation with Mary Ussery, and we ended up talking about really taking it to the next level. There's some really, really big things about to happen in Viseo that I can't really share with you, but I will tell you that what is about to happen in this company will absolutely catapult the company. As you guys know, we're growing by leaps and bounds right now. And Dallin is really creating an opportunity for so many people to win. And for so many of us that have been involved with the company for just a short period of time at the beginning stages, you guys know the importance. And for many of you that have never really potentially joined a network marketing company in the beginning stages, the beginning is really where most millionaires are really created. Obviously, people will become millionaires 10 years from now in Viseo, but I believe in the beginning is where we have the biggest chance to become millionaires just because we're at the beginning stages. So it's so important for each and every one of us to grow and to become entrepreneurs and to become business owners. So many of us, I think we get involved in network marketing with the whole mentality of we are going to try to see if this works. We are going to try, and if it makes me some money, great. If it doesn't, it's okay, but I'm going to try. Well, I want you to ask yourself this question when it comes to anything in your life, whether it was your relationship, whether it was your schoolwork, or whether it was you trying to get a promotion at your job. Anytime we just throw it out there and say we're going to try, if you try anything, most of the time you're not going to be successful at it if you just try. Try gives you that exit strategy, and it gives you the ability to make excuses on why you didn't or did become successful. So I believe there are success clues that most people have and failure clues that most people have. Whether they are successful or whether they are a failure, there are opportunities for each and every one of us to either grow or die. I believe life is all about growing or dying. I don't believe anybody stays the same forever, right? So one of the things I learned many, many years ago was I understood that success leaves clues. So what I ended up starting to do in my first company is I started to really follow and mimic what successful people were doing. And what I started to do is associate myself with really successful people. I took it to heart when my mentor once told me, he said, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And if you're doing all the talking, you're in the wrong room. He said, you need to start surrounding yourselves. He said, you're going to get to a certain level in your business where if you want to grow and make more money and you want to grow and be more successful and you want to grow and impact more lives, you're going to have to start surrounding yourselves around people that have what you have or have what you want to have. And so I started doing that. And one of the gentlemen that I ran into was talking about my goals. And he said, what's your goals? How do you set your goals? How do you achieve your goals? And he just started talking about goals, 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 goals. And we all have heard the speeches. We've read the things on goals, how important they are. But how many of us really, really take it serious when it comes to our goals? How many of us really understand that goal setting is really the basis, fundamental principle of most successful people? Like nobody achieves anything just by throwing it out there and it happening through osmosis. Like it never happens. Like you have to be very diligent and deliberate to make anything happen in your life that you want to happen, because we're all going to go through obstacles and detours, and we're going to go through trials and tribulations, and we're going to go through something called life. Life never makes it easy, right? And I don't believe God makes it easy on us either, because who he wants us to be is completely different than who we are. So for each and every one of us, if you are going to make it in this business, or you're going to make it as an entrepreneur, you're going to make it in Viseo, it's going to have to be very deliberate. You're not going to be able to be who you want or make what you want in Viseo by just simply being here. And I'm telling each and every one of you this with absolute love from my heart, because I believe so many of us, and I know this is coming just from me, myself, is that I wish that somebody would just tell me straight up when I first got started in this industry what exactly I needed to do instead of sugarcoating the opportunity. Because this opportunity is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. But anything worth having, as we all know, is uphill. Everything worth having is going to be uphill. So I want to kind of go through this today with you with the perspective of learning information and not applying it is like not learning at all. Okay? So if you sit here today and you spend a dedicated 30, 40 minutes with me this morning learning how to set good goals, but you don't apply it, it means nothing. You've wasted 40 minutes this morning. You could have been doing something fun. You could have been doing whatever, right? You could have been sleeping in for another 40 minutes. So anytime you make the effort to learn something, whether you're reading a book, always ask yourself, how am I going to apply this today to make a difference in my life? Because reading 40 books in your lifetime, 50 books in your lifetime, and not applying any of it is exactly like not reading 50 books at all. Like, why read? Why spend the time to invest and to spend your precious time that you have today on something you're not going to apply? So I want to really encourage you that you apply this stuff that we're going to go through so that your life changes. My goal for doing this is not to spend 30 or 40 minutes so I can talk into a computer to make myself feel good. It's really to try to pour into you that you will change your life, that I could be a small piece of this puzzle or this small piece of this success story that you are about to create, that God has positioned you in for. So let's go through this goal setting information and what this is. And I want you to know that at the end of this, I want to hold you accountable for doing what you said you potentially want to do. Okay. So we'll talk about that at the end. So let's get started. So let's talk about goal setting. Napoleon Hill said this: a goal is a dream with a deadline. Okay. A goal or a dream without a goal is a wish. Okay. A dream without a goal is a wish. But a goal set is a dream with a deadline. So whatever your dream is to do in Viseo, you can accomplish it if you set the right goals. You have to set the right goals. So what is a goal? And what is a SMART goal? You probably heard of people saying you have to set SMART goals. Well, SMART just stands for S is specific. You got to be clear when setting your goal. You can't leave any room for guessing, right? It's like you women, if you want to have a nice butt and you go to the gym and you go to a personal trainer, if you say, I want to have a nice butt, I'm coming to the gym, I'm coming to you. A personal trainer doesn't say, well, then just come to the gym. A personal trainer is going to have specific routines, specific exercises for you to get a nice butt. Just like for us guys, if you want a nice chest, you want big arms, you go to a personal trainer. He has specific exercises. So that's why you got to be specific in what you want to accomplish in your Viseo business. Number two, it has to be measurable, right? You set a goal that is measurable towards your goals. You got to have things that you're doing every single day so you can measure whether you are going to be successful or not. It has to be attainable, right? You can't be a bronze right now and say, I want to be diamond by tomorrow or diamond by the end of the month. It has to be really attainable, right? It can't be too far-fetched, okay? It has to be relevant, right? Create a goal with importance and meaning, right? If you hit gold, what does that mean? If you hit bronze, what will that mean for you? If you hit diamond, what will that mean for you and your family? Okay? What is it? Why do you want to hit that goal? And then T stands for time bound. You have to be committed to a deadline. That's where the accountability comes in. Every single one of you, if you're married, you don't cheat because you have to be accountable. If you cheat, you know what happens. If you have a job and you don't go into work, you're going to get fired. That's accountability. The bad part about owning your own business and being an entrepreneur is there's no accountability. If you work, you work. If you don't, you don't. No one holds you accountable. So you have to have T says time bound. You have to create some sort of accountability for yourself, whether you create it or whether you get someone to hold you accountable, which I would suggest is the greatest way for you to be able to achieve a time bound SMART goal. Okay. So why do you want to set goal? Why is it important, right? Well, one of the things that Zig Ziglar said is that if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. Most of us never set goals. That's why we never achieve anything. You just say, hey, I'm going to just try it. You never set a goal, and so you never achieve anything significant, right? So the top 5 things why goal setting is important is, number 1, goals give you focus. I think all of us would agree we all have distractions in our life. And that's why I think it's funny when someone says, I'm going to get started when I have time. Okay, well, here's the deal. In the last 5 years, have you ever really had more time in the last 5 years? You never do. Think about this month. You're never going to have more time this month. Something's always going to come up. So goal gives you focus so that you can focus on what you want to achieve. Number 2, goals allow you to measure your progress. How do you know how far along you've come if you don't have any progress or you don't have anything to measure it by? Number 3, goals keep you locked in and undistracted. So you got to be able to stay focused long enough to achieve what you want to achieve in Viseo. Number 4, goals help you overcome procrastination. I think each and every one of us knows that procrastination is a death sentence, right? Which is basically just prolonged. So procrastination is your death sentence, really. If you don't have a goal, we're always going to procrastinate tomorrow. That's why we always say tomorrow never comes, because today is the day that you need to do it. Nobody ever did anything great tomorrow. Everyone always does something great today, okay? And goals give you motivation. How do you know what to shoot for if you don't know what target you're looking at, right? So we really want you to understand that. So let's talk about statistically. Statistically, there are studies out there that prove goal setting is very important. Statistics. So for all of you that are like me, that are statistic driven, or you believe in statistics, right? I think everything out there scientifically can be proven, right? Like for goals, successful people, if you look at successful people, all successful people have certain habits, and everyone who has failed has habits. It's statistics. Like you just look at the average. It's called the law of averages, right? So if you took 100 people and you took 100 people that failed, statistically, the people that are successful all have certain things that they do identical, even if they don't even know each other. Same thing with people that are failing in network marketing. I guarantee you, if I took every single person that ever signed up in Viseo on the momentum group, and statistically, I looked and I could interview every single one of them on what they did their first 6 months in the business and where they were at 6 months from now, statistically, the successful people, even if they never talk to each other, would probably be doing the same thing. The people who are failing, statistically, are probably doing the exact same thing, okay? So statistically, I will tell you that you could see the difference between someone who fails and someone who is successful. So let's talk about research. So I pulled up this article, and this is a really, really great study. It's by James Clear. It's a behavioral psychology. It's called Habits and Self-Improvement, and it's about achieving your goal. So here's what they did. They took 3 groups of people, okay? Group number 1 was what they called the control group. And the control group is that all 3 of these groups of people wanted to lose weight, okay? All 3 of these groups, all these people wanted to lose weight. So they wanted to see how effective goal setting was when it came to losing weight or just goal setting in general. How important are goals when trying to accomplish something? So they used weight loss because 99% of us at one point in time want to lose weight. So what they did was they took group number 1, they called it the control group. And all they did with these groups of people is they were asked to keep track of how frequently they exercised over the next 2 weeks. That's it. So all they said was, just let us know and keep track. Every time you work out, just let us know how many times you've worked out in the next 2 weeks. That's all they did. That's all they had to do. So that's group number 1. Group number 2, they called it the motivation group, which they basically asked them to track how many times they actually worked out every week. But then they also had them read this pamphlet which gave them all the benefits of exercising, on how it could reduce basically heart disease. Okay, so it was motivation for them to exercise because it told them, hey, if you exercise, this is what exercising is going to do to save your heart. So they gave a little bit of motivation, but they just said, hey, but anytime you work out, just track when you work out in the next 2 weeks. They said, okay. Group number 3 was what they called the intention group. The intention group. And all they told this group was, they said, okay, number 1, we want you to track every time you work out. We also want you to read the same pamphlet, the motivation group. So they wanted them to track it. They also wanted them to get motivated as well. So they wanted to give them some inspiration to work out. But then they were asked to also formulate an actual plan. Formulate an actual plan on when they would work out. And they wanted them to be very specific every single day, what they were going to do, when they were going to work out. And they wanted them to do this, but they wanted them to write it out before the actual exercises were actually going to start. So before they started this, this little test, they had group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3 knew exactly what they did. But group number 3, the difference is that before they actually did this experiment, they had them write it down specifically what they were going to do every day. And they just had them specifically write it down when they were going to go to the gym, what exercise they were going to do, what time they were going to go at. So they wanted to do it specifically. So then at the end of the 2 weeks, they had their statistics. So at the end of the 2 weeks, here's what they came up with. This was the percentage of the participants who actually exercised at least one time a week. One time a week. Group number 1, who was just asked to just tell us when you worked out. In 2 weeks, every single one of these people wanted to lose weight. Every single one of these people had intentions to lose weight. Every single one of these people wanted to get fit. But when group number 1 was only asked to just tell them when they did it, or only 38% of the people went one time a week. Group number 2 they were motivated. They were also asked to track. But the difference was they were given a little motivation. 35% in group number 2, but look at group number 3. Group number 3, 91% of the people went over one time a week because they had a goal, they were deliberate, they tracked it, they measured it, and they were specific. 91%. So here's the question. Who do you think eventually got healthier? Group 1, 2, or 3? Here's the other important question. Which one of these groups do you think eventually hit their goal? See, here's what I want to tell each and every one of you. If you think that you are going to be the one and only to achieve your goal in Viseo of making $1,000, $5,000, hitting diamond, if you actually think that you would be the only one in the history of goal setting and being successful that doesn't need to set goals, that doesn't need to do what successful people do, and that you could continually do what you're doing now and achieve what you want to achieve by never changing, I will tell you statistically, you are literally almost going to be impossible to do it. It's going to be impossible to do it, okay? So I wanted to show you this because this is statistics. 91% in group number 3 went over one time a week. And the people in group number 3, probably eventually more of them achieve their goals. So what is your goal? So why are we going to set goals? So let's go through this program of how you are going to set a successful goal. Okay. So number 1, here's what I want you to do. First thing I want you to do is you need to write your goal down. It's called the result. So what goal do you want to achieve by November's regional event in Vegas? What goal do you want to achieve by January's international event? What do you want to walk the stage at in January of 2020? What goal do you want to hit by January of 2020? So you write down that goal. That's the end. That's the finish line. That's what they call the result goal. Then what I want you to do is I want you to write down 3 progress goals, okay? And the 3 progress goals are basically, in what ways do you need, and what do you need to do, right, to progress and advance your abilities to reach your goal. So what are 3 things, which we call progress goals, what are 3 things you need to do that if you did these 3 things, you would hit your goal or your result? So what do you think 3 things? So, and I'm going to give you an example here in a minute, okay? So the result goal is the finish line. What do you want to accomplish? And the progress goals are 3 of them. You need to list 3 things. So you need to think about it. What 3 things, if these 3 things happen on my progress goals, I would hit my result goal, whatever that may be. And then under each progress goal, you're going to have 3 action tasks. 3 action tasks. So based on your progress goals, what do you need to do on a day-to-day basis to ensure you are hitting the progress goals you have set? So you're going to have 3 progress goals, and under each progress goal, you'll have 3 action tasks. So the action tasks are, what are 3 things you can do every single week to make sure that your progress goal gets accomplished? So each progress goal has 3 action tasks. The 3 action tasks are what you do every single week to ensure that your progress goal gets completed. Okay? So let me give you an example. This would be an example. This is something that I set for one of our brand partners in Virginia. And she wanted to hit platinum by November. Very lofty goal, but she could do it. She has the ability, she has the contacts. So her goal, result goal, was platinum by November regional training in Las Vegas. That's her goal, okay? So I had her list 3 progress goals. So if these 3 things happened from now until November, she would hit platinum by the regional training event. So the number one thing is one of her progress goals was she needed 8K in her small leg. So she knows for a fact that if one of her progress goals is that if she has 8,000 in volume in her small leg, she's going to automatically hit, that would be an indicator she will hit platinum. Number 2 is that if she helps every personally sponsored brand partner hit star. So if she goes out and signs up someone and she makes sure that they hit star, she's going to also guarantee her opportunity to hit platinum by the regional in Las Vegas. And then her 3rd progress goal was that she wanted to personally enroll 2 brand new people every single week till the November regional. So think about this. If you brought in 2 people every week and you made sure that those 2 people every week that you brought in, they ended up hitting star, which means star is where they come in and they bring in 2 members themselves, right? And you had 8K in your small leg. Here's the question. If those 3 things happen, would you be at platinum by Las Vegas? The answer is absolutely yes, okay? Now, under the progress goals, because now you see 3 of them there, we need 3 action steps per progress goal. So all we're simply saying is this, is that if we do these 3 action steps for each progress goal, that progress goal will come true, okay? So we have to break it down even more now. So action steps for the first progress goal, which the first progress goal was to make sure that we have 8,000 in our small leg, okay? So action step number 1 is to identify 2 people on the left and 2 people on the right and help them hit gold. So if I identified Haley on the right and I identified Kurt Fehrenbach on the right, and I helped Haley and Kurt hit gold, and on the left, I identified Mary Ussery and Monique Hahn on the left, and I identified them, and I helped them both hit gold, would progress goal number 1 come true? Answer is yes, because both of those people on the left and right would be a minimum of 6,000 in their small leg. 6,000 times 2 is 12. Well, I would hit it. Number 2 action step that I could do every day to make sure that happens is I want to have her do 3 Viseo home views every single week. And number 3, work every week with new members on hitting goals, on their members on goals to hit. So basically, if I'm working with Kurt and Haley on the right, I want to make sure that they hit their goals. So every week I'm working with those 2. On the left, every week I'm working with Mary and I'm working with Monique. Okay? Progress goal number 2, which is, let's go back. Progress goal number 2 is help every personally sponsored brand partner hit star. So how do I help every personal brand partner that I enroll hit star? So here are my 3 action steps. Number 1, I want to get a launch document to them right away. So you want to get their email address and you want to send them the launch document. Viseo is going to send them a launch document, but we also created a simple launch document that's on the Momentum group under file. Okay. I also want them to schedule their first Viseo view within 7 days. So if I bring in Monique and I bring in Mary, I want them to do their first Viseo view within 7 days. Okay. And then number 3, I want to help them sponsor one on the left and one on the right. So if I do those 3 action steps, progress goal number 2 will happen. Progress goal number 3, let's go back. Progress goal number 3 for me to hit platinum, or her to hit platinum by Las Vegas, is to personally enroll 2 people every week. So what 3 action steps can she do? Well, progress goal number 3, her 3 action steps would be this. Every week, she needs to connect with 5 or 10 people every day. Step number 2 is that she needs to do 10 3-way calls with me every single week. And then action step number 3 was that she needs to personally do 5 presentations a week. So if she does those 3 things, those 3 action steps every week, she will ensure that she is able to sign up 2 people a week, which if you go back to her progress goals, if she does the action steps for all 3 of these progress goals, she basically will hit platinum by November's regional. So these are her 3 action steps, okay? So that's how you set your goals. This is what I'm having everyone that I work directly with that wants to be held accountable, that wants to set successful goals. This is what I'm having every one of them do. And then I'm holding them accountable every single week to do the action steps that they set out for themselves. Okay? So here's what I do on my morning routine, and I want to give this to you. So your morning routine should be this. Every morning you should write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Or if you can't think of 3 things you're grateful for, what I like to do is write 1 thing down that I'm grateful for and 3 reasons why. Because the reason why I want you to do this is because it's hard to get discouraged when you have a grateful heart. Okay? It's hard to get discouraged when you have a grateful heart. The second thing I like to do is write down your goal. So what's the goal for today? So if you look at your action steps, you know what you want to accomplish today. The third thing I write down is what's my target for today. So if my goal is for the lady that I set that platinum goal setting for, she is to connect with 5 or 10 people every day. So the target for today for her would be to connect with 5 or 10 people. And then I want her to write down what her plan is for today. That's why I think it's very important for you to have a DMO and a calendar. Okay? The evening routine is at the end of every day. I think it's very important for you to write down your wins. How did the day go? What were some of the wins for today? And we always have wins for today. Okay? The other thing I like to figure out before I end my day is our lessons learned. Did you learn anything new? And are there opportunities every single day for you to improve? So what did you do today that you just didn't like, that you can improve in tomorrow so you don't do it? And then evening gratitude. What are you grateful for from today? So what happened today that you're really grateful for? Whether you met with a good friend for lunch, whatever it is, okay? And then your weekly routine is to review your weekly progress every day. And this is where the accountability comes in. You need to identify someone that can hold you accountable every single week to do what you said you were going to do. See, here's what the definition of commitment is. Commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long after the feeling you set it in has left you. That's what commitment really is, because we can all set lofty commitment goals when we're excited. It's about sticking to them when the feeling of excitement is gone. So you have to have an accountability partner if you want to be successful. So let me give you some tips on how to grow yourself. I went through some training with John Maxwell. And John Maxwell always says that to see value, to add value, okay? So first thing you do is if you ever want to lead anyone, I would suggest you start with yourself, because if you can't lead yourself, you're never going to lead anyone else. You can't teach anybody anything that you don't already know yourself, okay? So the first thing you need to do is you need to guard your self-talk. Too many of us talk bad about ourselves every single day and we don't even realize it. We say things negative about ourselves every single day. We don't even realize it. My mentor used to always tell me, don't ever say anything negative because you're listening. Number two, you got to add value to others. So my mentor used to say this, lose yourself to find yourself. Meaning, if you focus on serving others, you'll find who you really are. And then every day, try to get a win. Every day, you need to try to do something that makes yourself proud. And the last thing is you got to be prepared. Preparation relieves anxiety. The more prepared you are, the less anxious you'll ever be. If the reason why you're anxious is because you're unprepared. So get prepared and you will find yourself being less anxious. The other thing is that what I believe is one of the keys is being consistent. Being consistent. You know, it's not about how much you do in one day, it's what you do every day. So consistency, the one thing I love about consistency is that consistency starts to establish your reputation. How many of us would agree that our parents probably told us that our reputation is everything, right? Our reputation is everything. Also, being consistent provides you security. You never have to wonder what's going to happen in your business because you're consistent. It also reinforces your vision and your values. No one ever has to worry about where you're going to be next month or what you're doing. If you're Viseo, you're Viseo, right? People don't like to follow people who don't know where they're going. So it reinforces your vision and your values. And the number one thing I love about being consistent, and this was shared to me a long time ago, which really I love, because if you understand how compounding nature works, consistency compounds. Consistency compounds, which is the greatest thing for us. So how do you get started? First thing you do, you got to set your goals. If you need help setting your goals, you need to reach out to someone who's above you, or you need to reach out to me and I can help you. You need to find someone to hold you accountable, because if you don't have someone to hold you accountable, you'll never complete what you started. And when you achieve this goal in your life, you know, what will improve and how will it improve in the following ways? Like, list some things. If you achieve diamond, if you achieve emerald, if you achieve gold, what's going to change in your life? And the other thing I always like to do is, if you complete this goal, you got to reward yourself. If you achieve this goal by January, what are you going to do to reward yourself? What are you going to do to celebrate when you win? And what 3 things will you do to ensure that you will take action on these goals every single day? What are you going to do to make sure that this is something that you accomplish? How are you going to make yourself proud in January? How are you going to make your family proud? When are you going to draw a line in the sand that you're going to say to yourself, enough is enough? When are you going to say to yourself that you are finally sick and tired of being sick and tired? This is when you got to get it started. This is when you got to draw a line in the sand, folks, so that you can achieve every single goal that you've ever wanted to do. I believe that each and every one of you is here for a reason. You got to figure out that reason, and you got to use those gifts and talents that you've been given, and you got to multiply them. But you'll never multiply your gifts and talents until you start with yourself. You got to set a goal for yourself to achieve. You got to set a goal to yourself so that you can make yourself proud, because you'll never make anyone proud until you make yourself proud first. And that's it. So hold on one second. All right. So I am done sharing. Let me stop.